Welcome, of course, Ford Video Guy here with a video. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and so I thought it'd be a great opportunity to put some Bronco accessories on. So now there are some guides. This is really not a how-to video. It's just more of a documentary of what I'm doing to the Bronco. If you did see last week's video, I talked about some things I've recently done to the Bronco. Didn't do videos like I did on the rock sliders that I had, as well as the grill like I am on this one. But IAG, what we're doing today, just to let you know, we are going to go ahead and try to maybe do 2 projects a day, but we'll do them separate videos. One of them is the IAG Interior Lights. So if any of you have a Bronco, there's not very good lights in these. So let me turn this camera around, let me show you. So unless you have the top down, which I do because they instruct you to do that, but there's like 2 lights up here, and that's about it. There's no interior lights like you would in maybe another SUV. And so IAG makes some lights that we can put across there on both sides to give us some interior lights that should work when we open the doors. So we're going to try it out. Now IAG has some great instructions, video instructions, plus the paper instructions, which is probably what I'm going to go off of. I'm used to doing that. So we're going to do this. We'll have to, for the most part, take off the molding on both sides there, as well as on here. You have to pull it down off the top, and then of course this side, and then down. And I'll have to take this off, which may be the only thing mainly I have to unscrew other than those up there. And then I'll have to take this panel off down here. But we'll get it all done. I think we'll get it. We'll see how easy it is. Again, as I've said, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So we'll just see how easy this is. And because it does say in the instructions it could be about an hour to install this. If I had this done at the dealership, they'd probably charge me at least an hour, if not more, labor to put this in. And that's, anymore, that's like $150. And if I can do it myself, then so be it. So we're going to do that. So we're going to dive in. It does tell us to unhook the power from the battery. And really most of the wires I'm going to be laying first. And so I'm not going to worry about that yet, and then I'll unhook it when I'm ready to install it down there and hook it together down there. So I'll just wait until I get in there before I do that, but I'll lay everything. So I might do it a little bit differently than them, but we'll get it all installed. And I think the only parts we're going to need is the parts for my from my Bronco kit, so which has the bolts and everything for those bolts, or the sockets for those bolts over there. So we're gonna get started, and I won't probably film it all, but I'll kind of take you step by step. Here's what I'm doing next, and here's what I'm doing first, and so on, and go through there. So let me turn this around again. I'm gonna show you what comes with the kit. Okay, so when you open the box, you're going to have this QR code, and you can scan that for the instructions, paper or video. It allows you to do both. And then here you do have the wiring. So this wiring is all one. It's going to go around from one side to the other side, and that's what these lights are going to hook into. So then you have your 4 lights, 2 for the front, 2 for the back. So we'll get these all hooked up, and but that's pretty much all it comes with it. No tools needed. I think for the most part just be able to use the tools that I get from my Bronco kit here, and I've added a couple things to this in the meantime, a couple different extra Allen wrenches that I've needed on some other projects, but we'll probably be able to use all that. And so there's the kit. So let's go ahead and dive in and get going. All right, so I show you just a little bit what we did here. So we took this piece off here. It has 2 little pins. I'm going to show you. They're real easy. Just use needle nose pliers to push it in on both of those, and it just pops down and comes out right out of here somewhere. Probably wasn't that way, probably was this way. Anyway, you take those out. Pretty easy to do. And then back it up a little bit. And then here you have 2 screws. So you can kind of see on that side where that's held on right there. The handle is bolted in. You take those 2 bolts out, and then you take this trim piece out at that point, and it just popped right out. There's like, if you look back here, there's 2 guide pins there and there, but in a sense you just pop this out right there, and it just comes right out nice and easy. So I'll do that on both sides. Okay, next step is to take out the 3 screws right here, right there, and right there on both sides, and these just come out real easy. So you just pulled it out. So there you go, right there. And if anybody's ever wanting to know what it looks like, there is your side curtain airbag, tucked away right in there. So in case you're wondering, there's your side curtain airbag. So I guess this is turning it into a step-by-step, but the next piece we're gonna do is just pop this out. This, you just pull it from the top there, and these clips just kind of clip right out, and it's gonna hang with this loop right here. So you just do that to both sides. The next step was really easy. So I'm on the driver's side over here, but you take this bolt that holds the support for the airbag, you take that off, and the wire, there's a short wire for the driver's side, so it's not very long, that has that in there. So you're going to put that on there, so that's kind of a ground. So you're going to want to screw that back in there. Real easy. You will want to, this will come off though. So what I did is I had this up here close, took that bolt off, put it in there, put it right back. So that way I could hold that in while I was doing it. So that was just maybe something to think about. Now, once you have that connected, you take the rest of that cord and you go down and you kind of push it all underneath behind the airbag, as you can see there. And then you want to go down, and then there's the second one, you want to go up there and then around this other bolt again, and then the last one should be just on the outside right before that other bolt. So you should have one connector there, one connector there. These are where the two lights are going to be, and then this connector here is going to get connected to the wiring that's going to go down as well as across. So we'll get to that part next. So the rest of this wiring comes together, and I actually snapped it into place already, but it's pretty long. So there's two sections, right? It splits right here. One of those, as you can see here, that's going to go down and into there. So that will route around there. This other one, which is longer, it all connects, and that's where the wires are for the passenger side. That's going to go through across on the front, whatever you call that. Anyway, past the aux switches and everything else. So we'll just continue on. So make sure you just plug that in correctly there and go from there. So this next part was a little hard to understand in the instructions. So basically, you're going to take the end of that, right? And then it divides into two. You're going to take that and you're going to go through that support on top of that airbag, because this airbag is going to need to come down and deploy. So you want to make sure everything's kind of up above that and behind it, right? So that's going to come through there, and we're going to connect it in to there and then kind of go from there. So this next part's not too complicated. You just don't want to pull this down, but we did pull this down until it popped gently just on the front two panels. That going to make it easier to pop back into place, but just gives us enough gap right here to run this wire. So there was a second wire. So the thinner one is the one that's going to go down. The fatter one is the one that goes across the passenger side. So at that point, you just kind of weed it through. You can kind of see it right here because I haven't pushed it all the way in yet. You can see it through there, and then kind of run it across, and you'll see I went up and above through there, and now it's over there. So I'm going to go to the other side and finish that out, and then we're going to come around and do the same thing on the passenger side with these. I did find a little hack to this. So the instructions should tell you to feed this end, this wire all the way through, and this end again, and everything behind there. I found it was tight, but yet this here just kind of wraps around the airbag. So I just took this wire instead, and I just came up underneath, and I kind of brought it around. So you'll see here that it just comes down. So I just did it this way. So I just did that and then came up, and now I'm behind it, and then I can make sure it tucks back behind. So that was an easier way of going than trying to tuck both of those connectors through there because it was a little tight. So now once I've gotten that under there, I of course ducked under this bolt and back up for the first connector. Oh, can you see that? Right there. And then back under that bolt for the other connector over there. So, and then once I did that, that was actually pretty easy because I did it on the other side. I just pressed this back up. I mean, actually, here, I'll show you. I pulled that down. Here it pop right there. So putting it back, of course, now I have the weather stripping out, which I put back into place already. But you just pop them back up. That's easy. So that was really easy. And then at that point, you just make sure this molding gets over the weather stripping, I should say, over that molding over there. So you can kind of see that there. You can just run your finger or a screwdriver or a tool under there, and then you're back into place. So that's pretty much it at that point. All right, next step is to take that remaining extra cord that is going to wire down below the in the panel. Is you want to run it through. The hardest part probably was this and over here, because you got to run this through there. You can kind of see, I guess you can't see it. You want to run that through there, and there is a connector on the end of this. It works a lot better if you take that connector off. So this just pops off. Take that off, because this is going to actually go on your wire. And so you take that off, it'll go through there a lot easier. And then once it goes through there, it'll kind of end up over here on the other side where that loop is, and it's just going to hang. Then the next step is we're going to unscrew those 4 bolts using the Torque 30, a T30 socket that comes with your Bronco kit. Anytime you have a Bronco name on a bolt, it's going to be in your Bronco kit that comes in your glove box. So, and the socket, which if you look, so socket goes on that end, your Torque goes on the other end. So it's pretty cool. This is a very handy kit to have with you. And I've used one thing that doesn't come with your Bronco kit is an 8mm socket, which I'm not sure why, but that's pretty much what I've used on all the bolts across there, and several other places that I've had these bolts. So, and the airbag. So the 8mm, this is probably going to end up staying in my Bronco kit, so I have it. But that's the next step. So we'll get finished taking this off so we can run that wire down to the panel. Okay, I want to show you one other thing. After you get these bolts off, there are 2 pieces right here that sit right in those. If you pull them out straight, and like I had this and it was coming out, but then I kind of had it sideways, and then I could see that those blue clips were in there. Glad they were nice and blue. But once I got over here and I used a screwdriver to just kind of pop it out a little bit, it just popped right off. So just a little tidbit of that. So you definitely don't want to break those off. Next step after you take that off is I have to take this off, and if you pull straight back right here, this pin pulls out real easy, as well as that one and such. But this one down here, those 2 are actually stuck into this trim piece, right? And so I'm going to actually get needle nose pliers in there to push those together to get those to pop out. And then we're going to need to pull this out as well. And I'm always nervous when I pull these off, because you don't want to like break any of those off. So I'll be real careful pulling that off as well. Okay, so this panel actually came off real easy if you pull from behind here. So if you pull from behind there, like right here, right there, if you pull right there, they all actually, it gets a nice smooth, and they all pop out together. And you can see there are like several of those blue clips. So it came out real nice and easy. So now I'm gonna look at the next step and figure out what we're doing. So the next step, as I looked at it, I'm supposed to pull this off, which is probably the part that I'm watching the video that I was most nervous about. But if we just get our finger in there and pull it out, we need to pull this back down. So, which that actually kind of sticks in there, which makes me a little nervous. But you pull that down, and it kind of hangs there, because I think we're going to take that wire, is going to come down and around through here, a little bit easier to get down through there and in there. So it just makes it a little bit easier, so you don't have to deal with this right here. All right, so with this down, of course, I ran this cord. This was really confusing. Probably the most difficult part so far was that came out right here into the slot. I pushed it down in there and had it come down here. And then from there, I wanted to tuck it in over to here and pull it out, and then have it, that way it can go down and around and in. So that way I have to take this piece off. So that cord is, you want to pull the end, have it come out, kind of push it. If you pull this back, you can get in there enough. I don't know if you can see that, in there enough to pull that cord out, and then you bring it down and around. And you can see now it's hanging. And we're going to put this back, we're going to stick it back up into there so it can come back and down under here. So that's what we're going to do. But I want to show you this, putting this trim piece back in. Of course, I had to go clear back, but it just goes right back in place. You just push it in. And then from here, you want to make sure you go, can you see that? The sun? You want to go underneath this A-pillar. So see how that kind of fits into that slot right there? So I can get a good angle without any shade. It kind of goes See right there, that corner, you want to go in there. And from there, you just kind of want to push it along down. And then make sure it gets tucked under there. And that should be all good and firm into place. Anyway, that was probably one of the most nervous parts, because if you know anything about wind noise and such, this weather stripping is what helps a lot with that wind noise. And I don't need any more wind noise out of my Bronco. So anyway, that's all in place. Now we're going to try to feed this through again, through there, and then tuck it in. I'll have to pull and come up from behind under here. You can kind of see that cord going up under there to daylight. That's where we're going to be coming and shooting that through. Also, don't forget to take these connectors off. Off of both of them, they'll go through a lot easier. All right, so here's where I'm going to get off a little bit from the instructions, because at this point they want to go ahead and hook this up, and I haven't unhooked the battery yet, so I don't want to touch and plug any kind of wiring in until then. I'm going to go ahead and start putting everything back on and plug in and mount the lights themselves, and then I will unplug the battery and connect this to the wire last and make that my last step. So I'll do a little bit differently than the IAG, just for convenience for me. I've had some problems with this, being a dead battery for a while and having some issues. So I just want to do it last. So that's what we're gonna do. So we'll do a little bit out of order. So I'm gonna start putting these panels back on, these two corner panels and these others, and start mounting the lights. So installing this was pretty easy. In fact, I went ahead and put this back one on that I had neglected to put on last time on here. So what you want to do is make sure that plugs in. So right where that plug is right there, you want to go ahead and plug it in and have it kind of going over the trim piece, this piece here, right, this molding, and just kind of hang there. And then you kind of want to just put that back, put it into place, and then lightly put that bolt in. So I went ahead and put it in through the light in there. You want it to come out right on that corner where there are notches up there. You want the cord to come out right there. And so it's right there. And then lightly put it in, and then go ahead and bolt in the other two. And then finish it up here and make sure you kind of line it up straight. And I actually was able to put that right there. So if you have that, there you go. So I'm going to do the other side the same way, and then we'll move to the front. All right, I got the driver's side attached. So you can see with that, the lights right up there for that. And so over here, one of the things that says is that when you attach this to the wire, where's that wire? Right there. You want to make sure that this excess wire runs underneath and around this. Almost was easier if I stood on the door jamb and looked from up above to make sure it goes around it. But that's what I did on that side, and that's what I'll do over here as well. So as you can see, I put this in here, and you can kind of see how that runs. Well, sorry for the camera action there, folks. It actually runs through there, and then you can kind of, if you look, if I move it out of the way, you can kind of look through there and see that it's looped around. So at least I was able to. Camera may not see it, but you can kind of see the cord looping around that hole there as well, so it doesn't get pinched or anything. So now I'll just screw those in along with the handle, and we'll be good to go. All right, so at this point we have now attached everything. All the bolts and the lights are attached to put everything back into place, other than, oops, sorry for that, other than up here. So that's still a part down there, and it's just hanging, and I'm ready to kind of wire this in, and that's going to be the last step. So I did go ahead and so here I went ahead and raised the hood, which, see, support arm. So next project right after this, I think I'm going to put in the hood struts, because those came in, but I did unhook that terminal from that, so we have no power going there, so we don't have any issues electrocuting old Ford Video Guy here. So next step, we're going to have that hook in to the gray wire, and then we should be good to go. So when we open the doors, the lights come on. Let's get to it. All right, next step is in here. We're going to pull this out. By the way, I did see my key code, my door code card was right here. Normally they put that in the glove box. Nope, it's here. I did turn it around for the video, so you guys don't have my door code. But that is the card for the door code. I haven't decided if I'm going to leave it there or not. Might take it out and put it in my glove box. We'll just see. But we're just going to pop this off. So you just pull, you just kind of push right in the middle and then pull it back. So there's a little tab. I will need two hands to do that. Tab, pull that white back, and then pull it out. And It did say I need to cut the tape, but it looks like the tape's cut back far enough that I think I can tap into that without having to cut any more of the tape. But it is kind of tight in there, so we'll just see how it goes. All right, so I did it. So the hardest part was the wiring. So let me show you this. Once I unhooked that, and I'm trying to find this now, I took this off and then connected that in, and the hardest part was getting the wire connected. There's not a lot of room in here for me to maneuver, and I need like 2 fingers in there to get in there. But you want to kind of put that cap, the T-cap, or the T-tap is what it's called, I think, around the gray purple wire. So it's a gray and purple. There's a gray by itself and there's a gray and purple. So you want to go around that and then connect that wire into it. So here, let me, probably shouldn't do this because I do have the, actually I still, I better not, because I do have the battery hooked up. But you're going to tap it into that. You can kind of see where the wire is up there. The other extra wire does not need to be connected. So just put that, there's an end cap that it comes with, just put that in there and you should be good. And then the other one, you can kind of see it maybe back there that's red. But anyway, you want to go around that wire and then plug into it. And then you should be good to go and hook back up, which I did. And I have lights. So at first, I didn't think they were working because I shut the door and they didn't go off. And I'm like, what's going on? I had the tailgate open. So once I shut the tailgate, I'm good to go. And it is working now. So I just got to put this back together here. And it should be good. Outside of that, this should all connect pretty easily. Just, you know, pop them into those spots there and secure it up really good. There you go. Connect those all up. There we go. Get that lost one in there and good to go. It's dirty. Don't mind that. It's a little dirty, but there we go. We have our lights up and running now. And again, you know, not too cool to say. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So it actually wasn't that difficult. It's time consuming. It takes a little while, but you got to take, you know, unscrew all the bolts to take all those off and run the wiring and such. But everything else, you know, was pretty easy to do and not too difficult at all. So there we go. It's a nice little Sunday afternoon project. We got the lights, LED lights in here, interior lights, so now you can see. So it'll be nice. I wanted to kind of have those up before we go camping because it'll be really nice to have those available to be able to see inside of the Bronco at night. So that's why I wanted to make sure those were installed. So anyway, so there we go. Project number 1 in a sense. Done several things, including the Benemy top, the hood struts, or I mean the soft top struts back there. Now, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the struts for the hood while I have the hood up. Install those. That should be real easy to do, but that'll be on a different video. So again, thanks for watching, everybody. You know, probably like I said, I am not that mechanically inclined. I'm not that good at anything really. So I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. So if I say it, I'll say it every video. If I can install it, anybody can install it. So there you go. So get those IAG lights. I'm a big fan of theirs now. I have 3 of their products and big fan of theirs. Those, you know, the struts in the back. I don't know if I showed you guys that. Let me show you that real quick. I showed you in the last video, but let me show you a little bit more about it and how that was pretty easy to install as well. Like I said, let me release that one. You can actually see the gravity wanting to take that up, but there you go. So those go up, those struts. Those are actually pretty easy to install. You just unhook a bolt up there. Right there you can kind of see where the strap is, and that bolts on. So there's a connector for that, and then it bolts on down here, and that's pretty easy to install, not too difficult at all. And then it just allows for that to be able to go up, and pretty nice because then you don't have to worry about this. And you know, like some people, if they have a struggle in reaching both of these and then lifting up and then holding up and doing the support arm, you don't have to worry about that. And you can just put it up. Plus it also makes it a little bit easier for this top to go up when I don't have the side panels in, of course. Just make it a little bit easier for that. So but then I just, of course, just pull it down and it latches into place real nice and easy. So there you go. So I'll put the top up and start heading on working on the next project. So again, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great Bronco day and a beautiful day as well. Thanks for watching this video. I know probably didn't need to go do the step-by-step, and if you guys didn't watch it, that's fine. I hope you guys at least watch the end. Thanks again for watching these videos, and we're going to keep customizing the Bronco in this Ford Video Guy channel. But don't forget to look at the Lon MacArthur YouTube channel, where I do most of my videos, live streams, all kinds of content over there. Just got done doing a bunch of Mustang videos, complete guide videos, how-to videos over there at that channel. That's the subscribe you're going to see at the end will be for that channel as well. So you don't definitely want to do that, and to make sure you don't miss anything over there. So again, thanks for watching this video. Hope you got it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I say this on my Lon MacArthur channel, but why not on this channel? Stay positive, be kind to one another, but also be kind to yourself. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.